Okay. Man, do I love politics. Who's saying this, dude? Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you wanted to chat quick. I saw you called. Just returning it quick.
Oh yeah, yeah, I do. I had a question for you. So earlier today, you said that people on the right, or the right wing media is basically always, well, not lying, but they have the biggest propagandists. I think is the word you use. And the biggest misinformation campaign. So I like to listen to the Daily Wire sometimes. I like listening to PPD podcast, the All In podcast. Can you tell me like any examples of these guys actually lying to me? Because I'm not aware of any of them, being dishonest or anything like that.
Do you believe the new Trump budget adds to the budget deficit?
Yeah, it does. I mean, oh yeah, 100% I do. I'm not
Okay.
happy with this big beautiful
Well, the
bill
sources you just
personally.
said, or not sources, the people you just said, like the what is it, PBD podcast and Ben Shapiro, like
Yeah,
they don't lie as much. Like Ben Shapiro will critique Trump on like Ukraine. PBD has on guests that'll give pushback. So those are not the like really bad ones. I'm talking about like Charlie Kirk, like the Five on Fox News, like Tim Pool I think lies a lot more than
really, Tim Pool?
yeah, I mean, Temple. I mean, the fact he takes Russia's side so often against Ukraine is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think what Russia did was justified 100%. They are wrong to start the war. But don't you think that they were, in fact, provoked? Because a lot of people on the left, in my opinion, seem to think that Ukraine are just innocent angels. And I'm like, no, they're both in the wrong, but Russia's way, way more in the
Well,
wrong.
no,
They're
because like
both not good.
for example, the situation with Ukraine and Russia is more analogous in a American context to when we tried separating from the original from the English, okay, from Great Britain. What did we call it back then? Was it still England? I don't even know. Yeah, England, because we call it Brit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when did that change? I don't even know when that changed. I just thought about it now. When did we start calling them Brits instead of English? Okay, but when we had the Revolutionary War, like that was to get independence from what we viewed as a tyrant. Now all these Eastern European countries had similar issues separating after the Soviet Union collapsed. And they tried getting independence through votes and through focusing on international law and things like sovereignty for different nations. And they wanted to join NATO for protection. Like Russia attacking Ukraine, like Ukraine is having their period of they're having their like revolutionary war almost. They are defending themselves from Russia, but it's the same as if England would have invaded the 13 colonies again. Like if they would have sparked another war 50 years later or whatever. It would have been a very similar mentality of like a bigger empire trying to crack down on this like smaller country that wants to move towards a goal of higher levels of freedom. And like Ukraine has higher levels of corruption than normal European countries for sure. But most
Yeah.
of that is from like the effects of being part of Russia and Russia purposely injecting that into Ukraine. We have an example of a country like Poland that had huge gains economically, largely because they're separated by land from a country like Russia. So like yeah, a lot of Ukraine's stunted development comes from Russia's influence as well. But like what you said about like NATO threatening Russia, that's something I would consider to be complete like something conservative commentators say that's complete disinformation because there's no evidence of like NATO wanting to pester Russia. There is evidence of Russia breaking treaties and ceasefires and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, I mean, I would just like to put myself in Russia's shoes. Like, let's say here in America, Mexico decided it's like, okay, we're going to go into a military partnership with China, and they're like, we're going to go into this military agreement. We're going to, we're going to, I mean, basically become like their form of NATO, but between Mexico, China, and let's say Iran or whatever, and like, No, like what would we do if we were in that situation? We probably would do something similar to Russia. I wouldn't agree with that either if we did that. I'd say let's find some other alternatives. But I bet
If we
you
were
America would do the
constantly
same thing.
invading Mexico and trying to topple Mexico's democracy and trying to install our own puppet leaders like Russia does to Ukraine,
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
were doing that
yeah.
to Mexico, I would completely understand them getting like a defense deal with China. I would 100% understand that.
You're right.
Um,
It's not completely analogous because
it's not. I
we're
mean,
not
I don't think it's
invading them.
analogous like at all. And even like think about the state of journalism right now. Like you yourself can go to Ukraine and poll Ukrainian people. You can probably get an interview yourself right now with government leaders in Ukraine if you went there. In
Yeah,
Russia, there's no journalism at all. Like when they go vote, they have guns to their heads. They shoot their like they talk about Ukraine having a draft, which is completely reasonable for a country being invaded in an existential war. But Russia, if their soldiers don't fight, they kill them on the spot like dogs. Like they have re-education camps for Ukrainian children. They traffic children and women. They do a lot of crazy stuff that we don't even talk about in Russia, largely because they have such a state-run media and propaganda state there. It's hard for us to get a clear view. But like, yeah, the Ukraine's very open. Their doors are open for journalists for a reason because they have nothing to
yeah.
really hide at this point. They're just fighting for their survival.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm supportive of Ukraine. I'm on Ukraine's side, but it's just, in my opinion, I do think Russia was provoked a little bit, not enough to justify what they did, but in my opinion, they were. And also, I mean, Ukraine isn't completely innocent when it comes to the recruiting practices. I've seen the videos of them basically kidnapping people, throwing them in vans, and like, because they don't want to get sent to the front lines. Like, what's the average lifespan of someone who's being sent to the front lines? What is it, a week? Like
Well,
they're
yeah, but
dying like
that's
crazy
why I
over there.
believe we should be arming Ukraine with defense mechanisms. I believe if we care about that loss of human life, we should keep on supplying them with aid and missile defense systems. We don't need to provide
Right.
offensive weaponry, but at least missile defenses and intelligence. If we really care about those young men and kids being sent off to fight. But again, any country being invaded by like a Russia would be having a draft, and America has done worse. We've had
Yeah.
drafts for wars that were not even in America that we just like, think about like yeah, the crazy ass wars we've been involved in on the other side of the globe with a draft have been
Right. No,
insane
I've
wars.
heard
So
of that
like if we were invaded right now, I would say a draft is justified. I mean, my ass would be out there dying, but like if we were being invaded by China and they took 20% of America, like that's like if a country invaded America and took all of California, Oregon, Washington, and a couple other states. Like that's what Russia did to Ukraine. Ukraine's not a small country, so like yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it's a complicated mess down there. But I do have one topic that I wanted to bring up to you that you mentioned. I think it was you. I was listening to a bunch of people. I wouldn't say I vehemently disagree. I just have disagreements here and there. I'm
Okay.
not like, oh, I disagree with everything. But I bet you this is going to hackle your feathers a little bit. I disagree that parents and professionals should be allowed to say, okay, we're going to put a child before they've hit puberty on puberty blockers. I disagree with that. And let me just say why. Um, what is that, body dysmorphia? If a woman, like there was this woman who put Drano down her eyes because she said, I feel like I'm in the body of a blind person. And the professional said, I agree. This is what's going to, they did it together. I think the psychiatrist helped her do it, helped her with the Drano, and the psychiatrist got arrested. He's like, I don't think that even if people agree, even if professionals agree, if you're doing harm, I don't want anyone to say, yeah, we all came to agreement of doing someone harm. I don't think you could make an argument to me that would be sufficient to convince me that putting a child on puberty blockers that early is anything other than harmful. It sounds horrible.
Well,
I've
there is
listened
an
to the
example
stories.
for puberty blockers for like young boys going through puberty at a rapid rate, and their bodies are
Oh,
developing like
that.
too quickly, and they're going through
What do
puberty
they
like
call that?
someone
They have a
said
name for that.
precocious or something like that. But
Yeah,
like that's
precocious
one
puberty.
condition. So like the idea of puberty blockers are harmful. I mean, it's the thing about Drano though. Okay, so like we look at psychiatrists. I guarantee we cannot find a consensus of 95% or 99% of psychiatrists saying that's a good thing. If there's one crazy doctor somewhere, let's say that's true. I would never say that's a solid medical opinion if one doctor says it. There's
Right.
doctors that said cigarette smoking is healthy. Because they're paid off by different companies. So like, imagine like a far right company has money and they pay off a doctor to make up that story. Because I can never find that anywhere. So like, it's possible they could set up propaganda to make it look bad. and worse than it actually is. And also like I know people who have gone through this process. It's very hard to like get access to stuff like this. Like puberty blockers or hormones in general. Like it's a very hard thing, but people take hormones for men, testosterone. Women take hormones as well, especially going through pregnancy. A lot of women, need to go through hormone therapy, going through things like menopause, and these therapies are used at all ages for a bunch of different reasons, and it's not like these are brand new things we made up for trans people. Like these are, the application is,
Oh,
is a little bit different, obviously.
yeah,
But yeah.
off-label usage, but because I wasn't talking about precocious puberty. I think I don't know what the numbers is. Again, it could be just lies and propaganda. Unfortunately, it's so much of it, and if you have a job like me where some days you're working 12, 14 hours a day, you just don't have time to do all your own research. You got to go by faith. Try to find people you think are the most trustworthy, and you got to put your faith in them because he's like,
No, I was
what
gonna
else
say
can you
too, but
do?
like what I just mentioned, all those things are not really they're not like off label or whatever. They're not they're normal treatments. Those are very normal treatments. That's actually
Well,
when they do the studies on like transgenic mice or whatever, when they do hormones on mice, and that's something MAGA says over and over again. They want to make mice transgender. Mice don't have gender. When they test hormones on mice, it's not just for trans people. It's for mostly not like non-trans people. It's mostly for people who are just like they need hormones for another reason. So
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like the children who like going through gender confusion, and my heart goes out for them. But for children like that, and then the doctors and the parents get together and they're like, yeah, puberty blockers is a good idea. And this is what I was referring to about propaganda. Maybe this number's propaganda, but I've heard it's tens of thousands of kids over the years have been put on puberty blockers, and and that's off-labeled use as far as I know. And I don't think that's a good thing. I really don't. Um, I just
well,
I've
like
heard too many.
my big thing is like the conversations. If you look up any conversations about gay people, unless if like the conversations were the same as it is now about trans people. It's really just like a new thing. And there's more medical intervention involved, so it's more murky, obviously. So like puberty blockers, I'm all for saying we need more testing on things like puberty blockers. I'm all for that before it becomes like a standard
Yeah,
medical procedure. My big thing is
yeah,
that being trans is still a real thing. I know people, I listen to them and their experiences and how much their lives improve when they're able to be the person that they feel they should be and who they want to be. And
yeah.
just on a vibes basis and being a good person, I think it's good to support people. Um, and like if someone truly has concern about this, I just don't think they make it their number one political issue.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
and if someone's like, okay, well, even if someone says like, okay, well, I'm going through a time in puberty and I'm confused, and you think it's whatever, you're like, oh, you're just a crazy confused kid. I mean, if you have a child and you have the conversation, I think that's fine. But like, also, they might not be. They might just be like that throughout the rest of their lives. And we get into a lot of scary
right.
areas about like, autism, being gay, being trans, where we say these are things that can be changed or they're learned through a nurture setting, and then we start doing like gay conversion therapy, or we start doing things like collecting databases of autistic people and saying that it's only caused by vaccines, and we got to start like sessioning out who's autistic and find out what's wrong with them. Some people just are like these different things, and I want to make sure we have a society that can be accepting. And even if you think it's a delusion, it's probably nice to you know be nice to people
Right.
and
Be nice
refer
to
to them
people.
how
I
they
get
would like to
that.
be referred to as.
And that's how I feel too. But I do think I want to live in a society that tries to persuade people, not forcefully, not too aggressively, but it's like just nudges them away from the LGBT ideology because I know the levels of suicide and the levels of depression are horrible, horribly high. And so it's like, well, if we could get people to not be part of that, if we could just nudge them to not be in that group because that group is suffering, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but like what I would say is I would not say 100% of the people that go through this are going to end up being trans in the end. Very high percentage will be. The regret rate for like hormone therapy or for even gender affirming care like gender transition surgery, the regret rate is super low, as individuals in chat are pointing out. And like in these conversations, it's very very complicated. And like the biggest
Yeah, it
cause
is.
of death for trans people is a radical like the lack of social acceptance is like the biggest predictor of if a trans person is going to commit suicide. It's a very rare story that a trans person commits suicide if they have a family that's very loving and open for them. Like it really is a very rare story, extremely rare story. But there is a very high
Well, I've
rate of
heard,
suicide
yeah.
among trans people that are kicked out of their homes and all that kind of stuff. But it's also like, and I heard Sarah McBride. I'd recommend watching a podcast from Pod Save America. They're liberals. I really don't like them for a lot of conversations, but they had a Congress person on there, and her name is Sarah McBride. It's the first U.S. Congress person who's trans, okay, from Delaware. And I think
Oh,
she
okay.
does a good example laying out why being gay is viewed as being different from being trans. And I'd recommend watching that podcast to maybe get an understanding of her perspective as the first person to, be trans and be in Congress, and also very intelligent and very articulately expresses how, like, being gay, if you're straight, for example, like I know what it feels like to love a woman, I know what it feels like to enjoy intimacy and all that kind of stuff, and being gay is just like, some people like that for same sex, like, okay, you can kind of understand that. So there's
Right.
some way to view it, but there's no way for someone to view like, oh crap, like this person wants to be like a different gender. Like there's no way for anyone to relate on that basis. So I definitely recommend checking out, and I appreciate the call because you're definitely uh far from me ideologically, but I can tell just by the way you're approaching this conversation that you are approaching this in a good faith, and you do hear things in a media environment that does like give you one narrative, and maybe you still agree with their narrative. But I definitely recommend that Sarah McBride Pod Save America episode. Don't mind how
I found
cringy
it.
the hosts are. Yeah, don't mind
I
the hosts.
found
The
it.
hosts are cringy. Don't watch their other stuff. I really do think they're cringy. They will not convince you. They're for liberals to just have a nice little circle jerk. But yeah, definitely if you are able to watch that and call in again sometime. It's random if I answer it, but yeah, definitely would love to talk about that in the future.
All right, sounds like a plan, man. Have a good rest of your night, and I'll
All
talk to you
right,
later.
thank you. You two have a good one.
All right, bye.
I think I think that was a decent model for how to navigate a conversation like that. Um, but it also is like if you find someone who does appear to be good faith, it's a different mode from someone who's actively extremely a hateful person. And I think I asked enough questions where if they were extremely hateful, then they would be like not responding in the way they did. And their openness to hearing more and to like look up the podcast episode is really good. And if you only watch Daily Wire and Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool, and you're still open to hearing, then I think that's actually a pretty good place to be in because they are militant in their ideologies, and I appreciated that conversation. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna check any donations. I'll take another caller in a second. Please drop a like though for the algorithm. Thank you. I just got $5 from Sri, King Sri. Thank you, Sri, on Venmo. Thank you so much. I'll add that to the after the stream. I'll go on and add that to the overall goal for the studio and for the possible pack setup. Thank you so much for $5, Sri. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can donate to Jolah Politics, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or to Coffee. The Coffee link in the bio. Daily Wire needs to release the real JP. Jordan Peterson. All right, next caller, I guess. Sri the goat. I like King Sri. I'll be on a work trip the next few days. Do you guys think I should try to still like do streams with my phone to talk, even if I don't do content, to say hi? Or should I do like TikTok debates? I don't know if I'll get TikTok viewers if I do TikTok, or I would try it, but I don't think I would. Hello?
Hello.
Howdy.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Talking about politics. How about you?
Just hanging out, man. I saw your podcast here. Just thought I'd come in and debate you.
Nice. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's start about the puberty blockers. You say, well, how do you feel on that?
I think we need more research on things like that. When they're used for kids for other reasons, like a puberty that's progressing too quickly, from what I know, it has good results. But for trans treatments, I think there needs to be more studies on how that would actually be applied. I know they're not really used much at all, except for extremely liberal areas, and even for that, it's really hard to get them if parents even want to go that way.
Gotcha. I hear you bashing on liberals a little bit. Maybe you're not bashing, but you kind of have like a dislike towards them. It seems.
Like
Is that the
liberals? Like what do you
case?
mean by
Or
liberals?
liberals,
Just like the left in general?
yeah,
I mean, I don't like the way that the left talks about certain things. I think a lot of politics is framing. And I think there's some framing issues. So I'm trying to, with my podcast, I try to uh, fix the framing in a way that sounds more correct because I think they don't do themselves a good service, especially with topics like toxic masculinity or white privilege, or how they talk about things
gotcha,
like systemic racism. I think their framing on those issues is really, really, really defeating, like really bad for if they want to do like it's really just not effective.
gotcha. So, what would you say about people like Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, these type
They seem to
people?
just want to make money. I mean, the Myron Gaines guy just like turned into like a
Really?
yeah, he just turned into like anti-Jewish guy to make yeah, they're riding different waves. Um, Andrew Tate definitely, he's a clout monster. His whole Hustlers University thing is literally just a referral link, multi-level marketing scheme. So like, yeah, he's made his money from getting. I mean, they're good marketers. They get in the news, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I've utilized some of their products, and they're quite beneficial. Not just their products, man. The whole anti-Jew thing. I don't even think that's the case. I think that it's been this way the whole time. If you're really looking at it, Andrew Tate was on Infowars, Alex Jones years before anybody had heard of Andrew Tate. Um, and Infowars, they're not Jewish haters. I don't know if you feel that way, but what do you think of Joe Rogan? I guess he's in the same crowd of Alex Jones.
Well, now he's closer to Alex Jones. He just kind of repeats whatever conspiracies come on his show. He doesn't really question things anymore. He just kind of says stuff. I haven't really
I'd say
watched his
he's
stuff
questioning the
recently.
most right now since he's joined up with Alex
No, I
Jones.
don't
I'd
think
say he's
so.
doing the
Like
best
think about
job.
this though. Do you know about the Palantir stuff with Peter Thiel?
No, what's
Or
that?
even like so Palantir, if you look it up right now, or at any point, it's a company by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, billionaire, gay billionaire who funded JD Vance's entire political life. Okay, so Peter Thiel's the reason JD Vance got chosen for the Trump ticket. Peter Thiel and Musk, their donations got JD Vance on the ticket. Trump did not know who Vance was. But yeah, they have Palantir, which is like this defense contracting AI weird company, and they're signing contracts to make an individual profile for every single American citizen, every single person in America, a mass surveillance system, Palantir, like literal 1984 shit. And they have signed contracts with the Obama administration, the Biden administration, and Trump administration. They've never gone this far though, in terms of how big their data collection is. And the fact Joe Rogan is sitting down with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and not questioning this at all, when this is probably like the biggest modern threat to freedom, actually the biggest threat to freedom in maybe human history. It's like a social credit score system before America. The fact Joe Rogan does not talk about that discredits the whole notion that he's like a critical thinker, in my opinion.
Has he heard of it? Do you speak to Joe
Hey
Rogan?
man, if you have Peter Thiel and Elon Musk on your podcast, unless if he's literally brain dead and he can't hear English and can't understand English, I'd expect him to know something. And even like Trump, Jeffrey Epstein dying after being good friends with Trump for so long under Trump's administration, the mother of all
Oh
conspiracy
God,
theories,
man,
man. Like
you're on
if
those.
you no, I'm not saying I believe. I don't
No,
believe
I
that.
can definitely break that down for you. He
No,
was
no, no, no,
definitely
no. Okay, I
not
don't want to go. No, no.
buddies
Okay,
with
no, no. I'm
Epstein.
just saying I don't want to go into that. But you have Donald Trump in front of you, and Joe Rogan does not ask one question about Epstein or Diddy. Which Diddy, Trump has talked about Diddy in a great light, and Trump just a week ago did not roll out pardoning Diddy. He said he would consider it because Diddy was friends with him before, but Diddy stopped liking him once he ran for president. Trump does not care about what Diddy actually did. So Trump might pardon Diddy as well. But like we have Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, we have this big surveillance state, we have
I
P
doubt
Diddy,
it.
we have Jeffrey
I
Epstein.
doubt
Joe
it.
Rogan does not question any of it. So I don't think he's a real. I don't
That's
think he's
not
all about
true,
it.
man. That's not true. That's not. You can say he doesn't question Diddy or anything like that. Any of that.
Man, the
Any of the
Palantir, but the
Epstein. Any of.
Palantir stuff, man, you got to look up the Palantir stuff. It's some crazy shit, dude. It's scary.
Okay. I'll definitely look into
So
that.
if you like
But,
look that up and
can't.
call in again, I want to hear what
You
your
talk about the cabal. You talk about the cabal. Joe Rogan, those guys are not part of the cabal system, the New World Order AI system. I have a platform, New World Order Exposed, on Facebook.
Wait,
And
why does Joe
I've been
Rogan platform
exposing.
all of them though? Why does Joe Rogan make Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos more famous and likable?
I think the same reason Trump would, and I'm not going to go on your platform and say he's doing this, like trying to pardon Diddy, but he has so much work to do right now. If he were to do that, you would know it's a mistake with
No,
the
no. What I'm saying is like if Joe
background
Rogan's
of
not
Trump.
involved in the
Yeah.
AI, like whatever, like the new AI surveillance state
He's a
stuff.
human being, man. Mistakes
No,
are
but
made.
no, but he has Elon Musk on every couple of months. He talks about Musk in pretty much every podcast episode. Said he's the savior to mankind. He has Peter Thiel on, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. He makes them more popular, makes
Gotcha.
them more humanized. It just seems like he's either a
Gotcha.
useful idiot. He seems like a master propagandist. Without, if he doesn't know it, that's fine. He might be a human being, but they are using
So
him.
what do
Don't
you
you
think of
think?
what do you think of Parker? Those
What
guys, Dean,
Parker?
Dean,
Oh,
and
I don't
Dean
like them.
Parker, TikTok.
No, I don't like them. I'm not into that.
Oh, I thought you guys would be buddy buddy.
Nope.
You guys seem to be against anti breaking down the New World Order.
No, no. Okay,
Come
I'm just
on,
saying
bro.
that
You
like
can't
no,
tell
no.
me
I
that
want
Joe
you
Rogan's
to.
part of the lizard. You can't tell me Joe Rogan, Alex Jones,
But he
part of
literally
the the lizard group.
Joe Rogan has talked to every billionaire in like the top 5 richest people in human history. He's talked to them. He's best friends with them. You don't think that's weird at all?
Who's he best friends with that's a billionaire?
Mark Zuckerberg,
Don't say
Elon
Elon
Musk.
Musk without saying
Yeah,
Elon Musk.
he talks about him
Go
all the
ahead.
time. I don't know how Dean and Parker from TikTok are part of the New World Order, but Joe Rogan is not. When Joe Rogan is his pal,
So
he
you're
goes, he
defending
parties
Dean
with
and
Dana
Parker?
White.
I thought you don't like him.
Dana White, and all
Dana
his
White?
guys in Dubai, and all their relationships. Like Dana White is Joe Rogan's best friend. Dana White got Trump on the show, and now Dana White's on the Meta board. That seems like a pretty big conflict right there.
So Mark Zuckerberg, Meta.
Yep, Mark Zuckerberg, Meta. Dana White's on that board.
You realize that Zuckerberg's trying to turn that whole thing around.
No,
At
I'm
least
just
from
saying
my
like.
understanding.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying the elite AI techno gods are right in front of you, and you're giving them a pass because they agree with you on probably like social
The
issues.
Silicon Valley LSD taking and the Sedona Desert guys. I understand what you're saying, but
No,
what
the
I'm
people
saying,
making the
buddy,
surveillance
is that
state.
the surveillance state.
Yeah, the American social credit score is being made right now by the people Joe Rogan loves, and he will ask no question about it. I hope he does eventually.
Yeah, I believe he will.
Okay.
Everything that Joe Rogan has spoke on is how bad AI can get. Elon Musk has spoke on is how bad AI can get and how to create an infrastructure that dismantles that idea.
Well, I
that takes
hope
that out.
Joe Rogan
We
talks
are
about
the
that
creators.
then. I hope Joe Rogan talks about it because
Well, you
Trump
have to
just
change
signed.
your viewpoint, man. Not even change your viewpoint. You have to look into things. You can't
No,
just go one
no, no.
perspective.
So I actually did
one-sided
look
and
into
say
this.
you
The
know
the
everything.
Palantir contract originally was to track immigration, and Trump fans were very happy about that. But now they signed a new
So they
contract
wanted to get them out of here.
No, the surveillance company, the Palantir, the really scary company that wants to steal all of our information. Now they signed a new contract to target American citizens as well. So the database is going to have dossiers of American citizens too. The Palantir stuff with Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel himself has called for the end of democracy and the end of freedom worldwide. Peter Thiel himself has said that on multiple occasions. So we have to watch out for him. And Joe Rogan, has Joe Rogan said anything bad about Peter Thiel?
I can't say he has. I can't say he has.
I think Joe
Well, here's
Rogan's
my
on
question,
this.
man.
He's on the team
You
now.
were talking highly about the LGBTs and whatnot like that. Do you affiliate? You also said you know what it's like to be with a woman. So, which one is it? Are you the Terrence Howards of the crew, or are you the Kanye West of the crew? You don't know which.
I don't want to
to
be Terrence Howard or Kanye West. I don't know what kind of decision
I don't want to
that
be
is.
either of them either.
What kind of questioning? I don't even know what those. They're on the same side. I don't even know what.
No. Terrence Howard has spoken highly on exposing the sodomy agenda in Hollywood and whatnot. So yeah, that's the play that he stands on. That's kind of where I was coming from. I figured you'd heard about it. all in the
No,
news.
I'm not in that part of the internet. But yeah, yeah. If Joe Rogan talks about Palantir at all, definitely look it up. If you call in again, we could discuss it. Appreciate the call.
Alrighty.
All right, have a good night. Okay. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. Again, I'll add this to the total after I'm done. Thank you so much, L, for the $5 on Venmo. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for the thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. I don't know if I want to use that for a YouTube video. It is funny with all the conspiracy stuff on like Joe Rogan just not being able to answer or not being able to question anything about the world, like about the techno gods, you know.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone.
Oh buddy, oh buddy, oh buddy. Okay. Whoever calls in first gets it. All right, I just refreshed it again. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Holy crap! Did I get through?
Yeah, you got through. You're one of the most lucky people on the planet.
Oh, okay, I'm watching your podcast. I'm just surprised you got through.
Yeah, you're good. You're live too, so people can hear you.
All right, cool. So I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm just I never got political until Trump was president.
Okay.
So I'm just I don't know. I've gone to a few protests and I've been handing out information on to everybody how to contact their representatives and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it seems like my friend who's been printing out the information, he's getting a little more opinionated on stuff like that, and he's putting on taco, I guess is the new term.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love it personally. I think it's absolutely hilarious that it bugs him so much. I just wondering, in your opinion, would there be a better message to put on the pamphlets that I want to hand out?
Wow, that's actually one of the best questions I've ever gotten on this channel in regards to messaging. What to put on a pamphlet. See, the taco stuff is kind of interesting because it's a very internal messaging. So like it's very in-group focused. So like people that know about it will think it's funny, but I don't think like Trump always chickens out will be a motivating argument to many different voters. I think about wedge issues. So right now, Trump, many people, including myself, we have very close ties to family members who suffered from cancer, obviously.
Yes.
Many Americans, I think a very vast majority, I don't know what the percentage is, I'm guessing it's 80 or 90%. And also things like Alzheimer's. Now, Alzheimer's is one of those really interesting problems because Alzheimer's is very emotionally gripping because it's someone that's alive still and watching that memory fade away from a loved one and them being essentially gone, but their body's still alive is somehow even more painful than fully having your family member pass away from something like cancer.
Yeah.
Like for many people, it's much worse psychologically. So having on that pamphlet, Trump is cutting Alzheimer's research, he's cutting cancer research, and he's using that money to funnel it into these cuts for taxes for these individuals, picking the least popular billionaires, or even just like focusing on the VA cuts. And if I had to make ads, the Alzheimer's cuts would be like one of the biggest things I'd focus on because I really want to make sure we pull on the heartstrings and pull on the emotional centers and the big thing is, you know, reach their heart first and then move their brain over. But yeah, that it's hard to find that in a slogan. So taco can be funny, but I like that you were asking that question because that is something liberals will do, and I mean MAGA does it too, obviously. But I don't want the messaging to only appeal to us, right? We want it to appeal to everyone. So
No, absolutely. You know, before Trump was elected, I voted Republican almost every time.
mm-hmm.
You know, it was once Trump got into politics and then got onto the Republican side because he ran Democrat back in the 80s. I was just like, holy crap, there's no way I can vote for this guy because I did a paper on him when I was in high school. I'm in my 40s now, sorry. And I cannot believe that people trust this guy. I mean, every handshake deal he's ever done, he has backtracked on, as far as I'm aware of. I don't know of any handshake deal he's actually followed through with. So if I'm
Yeah,
wrong, I'm wrong.
yeah. The biggest points to Trump are white identity politics. It is a form of identity politics for mostly white men. Some Hispanic men relate to it, and also identity politics for men in general. So that's why you see like black men even voting for Trump at probably historic rates. Still very much voting Democrat, but still it's a higher number than it probably should be. And then you see like Christian nationalism on the rise. Christian nationalism, the evangelical vote is by far the thing propelling Trump to where he's at right now. If you are let's say you do not have a college degree and you're a working class, lower income white man, and you are evangelical, you vote for Trump probably 80% of the time. If you're not evangelical, you vote for Trump maybe 30% of the time. Evangelicals are a huge thing. It's the men, evangelicals, and those social topics. And then there's some, that's not the only way to define it, obviously. There's some very complicated interplay there, and there's some different things with like social issues and white women, and there's so many complicated things. But those are like the driving factors of the really big, like, intense MAGA, I love this person, he's God to me, kind of support. And that's really the biggest focus. And one thing I'd put on pamphlets as well, Google Palantir, Google Peter Thiel, and there's some good videos and content creators if you look up like Dark MAGA or like Peter Thiel and Palantir, and it's finally getting mainstream media coverage. But this is scary as shit. And I'm seeing MAGA, like very, very far right MAGA, saying like, hey, Palantir is the worst thing I've ever seen proposed by any government in human history. Wanting to create like an American social credit score. So if you could put on all those pamphlets, this is Google Palantir. Google what Palantir wants to do. Google the contract they signed with ICE and direct them to an article somewhere that has a good person writing it, very concise messaging. That'd be Palantir is the wedge issue of all wedge issues, and I think it needs to be even for our freedom in general. That needs to be one of the biggest focuses of anything right now.
Okay, a couple things there. First, are you going to repost this podcast so that I can download it later and retouch on all your points? Because I'm not an intellectual. I'm not going to be able to remember all this.
Yeah. So if you I'll actually, one second. I'll make sure so I'm using a fake phone number online, but I'm gonna put down just like send video, and then I'll make sure I link you a copy of this recording. I appreciate you asking that, and I appreciate you calling in as well.
Okay. Oh yeah. Thank you, dude. And let's see, what's the other thing? Oh, one of my neighbors, he's a MAGA. He votes for Trump. He's also one of the nicest guys I know. And we talk about politics from time to time, and we disagree on it, but we never get we get loud and argumentative, but we never disrespect each other. So I just wanted to point that out, that there are people out there, and I think like you, the majority of people, we can disagree but still be respectful about it. And I think that's a very important point to make sure everybody understands. We can disagree, but this is America. We're allowed to disagree and still respect each other.
Yeah, and for individuals that'll say something like, if someone votes for fascism or votes for getting rid of rights or votes for really bad things, then they are also evil. There are some people who are bad people, but many are suffering, okay? The pandemic helped MAGA for very clear reasons. It was not really because of the policies. They cry about like lockdowns and masking, but the pandemic helped because of social isolation. The isolation we have, like I go through communities and it's hard to find people sitting outside. It's hard to find, it might be hundreds of houses. There's no one walking outside, no one on porches anymore. Everyone's inside on their phones, finding podcasts and other content that wants to separate us and divide us. And you can get into some really scary and crazy ideologies, conspiracy theories, and true hatred from going down those rabbit holes and not having human contact. And we have to make sure that our communities are open for everyone to be involved in, and we have to extend hands out as much as we possibly can. And that does not mean, I would never tell someone to waste time. Like if someone's fully indoctrinated and they believe things that are completely incompatible with reality and they actually are a bad person, which my podcast, I'm trying to separate individuals that watch shows and believe lies versus people who know the lies are lies and they continue lying because they hate people. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to separate those two groups. And this is really hard to talk about online because I'm from, and I talk about this all the time with like most commentators are from California, New York, DC, Massachusetts. Many of them are born into some type of wealth. I'm from a very working class background, a poor background. I've had family members deal with addiction, cancer, various forms of cancer. I've had people going in and out of jail for, a 99% white community. So I understand the white working class and, the rhetoric the left uses often gives more power to the really evil people because they'll say, "Hey, look, the left does hate white men. They do hate white men. You should probably join our side because they hate people like you and people like us. We'll make sure your issues are represented." And that's the white identity politics and nativism that is rising up right now. And I want to be I want to be anti whatever that is.
No, I'm anti-hate. The only thing I hate is
Yeah.
hate itself.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I mean, when somebody looks at me, I look like the big bearded fat white guy. Technically, I mean, I'm 1/8 Cherokee, I think it is, and I've never done a DNA test, but from what my family told me, I am as much of a mutt as an American can be. And I have never judged a person by the color of their skin. I've always judged them by their actions. And in my personal experience, some of the most hateful people out there are white people, and I feel bad saying that. That's just been my personal experience. I mean, one of my favorite bars is a gay bar, and I'm just a straight white guy that loves to hang out in a good vibe. I chased off this bigot one time, and I come back to the bar to a round of applause. It was awesome, and I don't know, dude. Everybody is so misinformed and confused.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? The person you brought up, if you watch the media they watch and you have no other outside information, their worldview makes complete sense. Whatever they believe about the world makes 100% sense according to the information they receive.
Agreed.
And that's why, like, taking someone to a city for a day, like, whenever I would tell like family or something I'm going to a city for work, they'd be like, "Oh, stay safe," and I'm like, dude. I'd have to
Yeah.
try to find trouble in these cities. I'd have to go to the poorest area and literally just like start yelling at people and trying to fight people to find problems here. Like, and other than that, it's random crime I might find in my hometown. There's no understanding of that. There's no care for that, and it really is. I think there is a jealousy. There is a jealousy that white people in America don't have a real culture. I'm sorry, but like when I think white culture, I think like I think the subsections of like white people, but there's not a unified culture like there are for other. Like there's a reason white people are considered to be like, oh, they don't like spice, they don't like loud noises, they don't like not good at dancing, they're not very artistic, they're not very cultured, they don't like diversity. Yeah. And there is anger from isolation and suburbs. Look at suburbs. The suburbs were created out of a racist foundation intentionally from white people fleeing cities, okay? And the isolation is very intentional, and that isolation is making the hate and anger in any direction get even higher. And then these individuals are mad at themselves, and they take that anger out on other people.
No, I agree. I totally agree. First time I experienced somebody trying to break into the house I was house sitting, I was in suburbia.
Yep.
The old lady had passed away. I was taking care of the house until it was dealt with, and somebody tried to break in the back door. And as far as the world was concerned, it would have been called white suburbia. It should have been paradise. No, a couple of kids tried to break in the back door. These were just teenagers. They didn't know any better. They thought they could make an easy dollar, and I don't care what color the skin was. I just saw a couple of kids running away when I came to the back door. And I'm sorry, I'm getting off track there. I think so many people buy into the fear mongering that I see coming from places like Fox News and other right wing.
Oh yeah, no. In these suburban areas, like the white people I know, they never meet immigrants. Okay, there's a reason people who live around immigrants like immigrants. Okay, there's a reason in cities they like immigration, in suburbs they don't. And I know from my experience, and I know from my experience in many different white communities, they get mad when they hear someone speaking Spanish at Walmart. I'm sure you've heard before. Oh, they're making fun of us in Spanish. Holy shit, they gotta calm the hell down. It's just like
I got a couple of neighbors that are trying to teach me Spanish, and I'm a very slow learner at my age. But my Spanish-speaking neighbors are some of the best people I know, and oh my God, the food they cook is just amazing. that may sound slightly racist, but I don't fucking care. That is really good food.
No, because when you're not a dominant culture in a society, you have to find other things like culture. Like there's a reason like black culture developed the way it did in America, and why much of
Oh,
it is more has more depth. Because you need to have culture to fight through systemic issues. But and you said you voted Republican. You go back and watch Reagan and Bush, and I have issues with Reagan a lot. But when they spoke about immigrants, like,
used
yeah.
to vote Republican.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
Sure, that's clear. It was used to before Trump.
But at least in the way Reagan spoke about America being a good country, about America being a country we should accept immigrants for, we should have amnesty programs, we should have a welcoming demeanor. Like at least Republicans at that time some of them could pretend like they wanted legal immigrants. But right now, every immigrant is an illegal alien to them. Every illegal alien is a gang member to them. Every gang member is a terrorist. And you could have any person at all in America if they're brown, they have an accent, they speak Spanish. Therefore, the person is now an MS-13 gang member. We can send them to a camp in El Salvador and suspend habeas corpus. This is it's not too good. Not too good.
No, I mean, from what I see on the non-mainstream media, they're targeting legal immigrants, the ones that are trying to do it the right way.
Yeah, they're making fake court cases, fake court dates, so that and
invite them in and then arrest them at the courthouse after their case is dismissed or for whatever reason.
And that's discouraging the legal process. That's discouraging people from going to their immigration appointments. Life is complicated, all right? If you have kids, you have a family, like it's a hard decision to make when you're brought to America or you come to America, you're working your ass off. Every president says we're going to fix the immigration system, and then someone comes in and just says, screw everyone in America. We're going to go after them and make ASMR about immigration and make hype videos, make all these hype videos about deporting people and laugh about it. Like these things, they talk about masculinity. When you do things that harm another person, that move another person's body, you're supposed to do it in a very stoic way. All right. When you're law enforcement, when you're working, when you're military, you're supposed to take care of this stuff in a way that's emotionless, because you're never happy if you need to defend your home, for example. You're never happy if you need to put someone in jail. You're never happy if you need to bring the law down upon someone. But the fact they're showing glee and showing violence and force in America, and they want military parades, that's shit you see in third world countries. That's shit you see in third world dictatorships. That's shit you see in Russia, Hungary, and all those countries, El Salvador, all these countries MAGA wants to replicate in America. Un-American.
Yes, I completely agree. I was going to say so much of what they do reminds me of when I read history about the Nazis and their Gestapo, and they just went full propaganda about how they were poisoning their blood of the nation, or I may be misquoting Hitler, but I'm pretty sure I'm quoting Trump on that one. And it's just so disgusting that they're judging people just because they look different and they come from outside the country. Where do you think we all came from?
Oh, I mean, they have no idea. Talk about white culture. Oh, yeah, about white culture. I'm from a place, it was an old coal mining town. The reason that there's Polish, German, Italian, there was a lot of Irish in these coal mining towns for the railroads. The immigrants always have done the shitty jobs. That's why you have cultures. That's why Irish culture, that's why Italian, that's why these cultures have like restaurants named after the cultures, because they went through something in American history when they came here as immigrants. So I come from an area that did have real white cultures. Ironically, Russia and Ukraine right now represents a feud in white culture, because Ukraine and Poland and all these different countries that are Eastern European make up a lot of places. Like I'm from Pennsylvania, makes up a lot of Pennsylvania towns. But the white people that talk about white identitarian politics don't give a shit about that. They don't care at all about that real, like what white culture, like what cultures or subcultures you can find in white America. Yeah,
I know, it's so insane that. Well, like when Zelensky came to the White House and got ambushed by Trump and what's his name, the vice president.
Do you even say thank you? Do you even say thank you? Imagine being such a weenie. I don't want to say words that are really bad words, but like
I could
it's so
say
weak.
Words, but I'd probably get disconnected. So I don't want. I really don't want to offend people. I am so sick of people supporting the bully. It's like, really? I mean, when they came up, what was it? Dark Brandon and Sleepy Joe Biden. What he embraced that. He was like, okay, bring it. And then Trump, if somebody calls Trump a taco, Trump always chickens out. and he's like, "Oh, don't ever call me that. You're nasty."
He bans
and,
them. Yeah, he bans them from the press pool. Like he actually bans
oh,
people.
did he?
It's
Oh my
crazy.
God, that is just horrible. I mean, come on.
And he said he's
dude.
happy. Like he basically said he's happy Joe Biden got cancer. He's like, oh, I don't care. Joe Biden's vicious, so I don't care that he got
Oh
cancer.
yeah,
Which means he's
yeah.
happy.
I know.
That means
I
he's
know.
happy.
And what is it now? The Joe Biden's a robot or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
I
you know,
can't even keep up with. I know that's probably a minor one, but I can't even keep up.
it's
with
not a minor
all
one
these
though. Like
it's not even minor. It's actually a big one now.
it should be. No, like it should be a big thing. It should be a big thing. The president is completely like he's
Insane.
brain dead. He's a dumb person and he's evil and he's very stupid. Like he's a very dumb guy.
Yeah.
In general and yeah, he's a baby. He's every worst attribute of he's every bad thing a person can be. Like there's no redeeming qualities about Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
But people like him because yeah.
I got one story to tell, and then I'll let you get on to another debate.
All right.
When I was in high school, I did a report on Trump, and that's when I first learned he's not the type of person that I want to like. So what he did, I'm gonna get some dates and stuff wrong here, so let me summarize. I believe it was Scotland. It might have been Ireland, but he was trying to build a golf course over there, and he had to buy some property from some farmers or something like that.
Yeah.
And he made a handshake deal. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but he made a handshake deal about what they would be allowed to do on their property, and that they wouldn't have to leave, they wouldn't have to change their way of life. And then when he got all of the property he wanted, he turned his back on every single one of them that he got a handshake deal with, and they lost their livelihood. Now, if I'm wrong about that, please correct me, but that's what I remember studying.
Oh no, there's so many cases of him getting sued. Like Atlantic City, workers in Atlantic City got so screwed over by Trump, and no one like, yeah, the idea that he's getting attacked for political reasons and lawfare, it's laughable. Every single person who's done any crime, like if Jeffrey Epstein had a podcast, he'd be a right wing hero. Like literally, Andrew Tate, yeah. No, and they literally were friends, and all the conspiracies stopped there. Trump refuses to pardon, or no, he thinks about pardoning Diddy like a week. It's just like nothing makes sense anymore, and that's what happens when you have democracy collapsing and dictatorships forming, especially in America where people have things really good. So the economy crashing randomly doesn't really affect you that much yet. It's really bad.
The white people, which includes myself, we have it so good we have forgotten what it's like to have it bad, and because of that. It's white privilege, and we don't even know we have it.
Well, I've worked like delivering food, for example, and someone might say, well, my life is hard. I work these number of hours. Like even the jobs that we have today are much like in human history. Like we are at a peak of advancement. Like we are at a very, I mean, a certain number of years ago, you lived till 40 or 60 or 30 on average. Like things got better, and people feel worse because of social media, and it's all a big social mental illness, and we have to be able to fix that, and mental health issues. I appreciate the conversation. I'm gonna make some clips on TikTok and Shorts with this. I like getting into strategy conversations and talking about this in a more human way, because it is really exhausting to talk about only online topics. So and that's one big thing too. Like I'll never get right wingers calling in talking about their lives. They're very isolated from themselves, and like they never say an issue they actually have. It's all about what group can I punch at? What immigrants, trans people? Oh, let's make liberals upset. Their whole political ideology is making liberals upset. So it's nice having this conversation. I really appreciate you calling in.
Agreed. I could complain about my life for days, but I'm not going to do that. One thing I want you to quote me on when you're going to do quotes or clips or whatever. The only thing I have to thank Trump for is pissing me off enough to get involved in politics.
There you go. Politics does suck. It does in fact suck.
It does. Before Trump, I was content to live my life and not give a shit about anybody but my direct neighbor. After Trump, I can't stay.
And you know what they say though? You know what they say? That feeling or attitude or mentality is the same reason we got Trump. It's because too many of us sat on the sidelines for too long. And we were not active citizens, and we allowed this to fester in our country, and it snuck up on us when we should have known it for a long time.
No, I agreed. I was too quiet about my own opinions before Trump was elected for the second time. And now that he's been elected for the second time, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. I am going out there. I'm sharing my opinion. I'm handing out flyers, like what I was asking you about earlier. And I want people to know what he's doing and the promises he's breaking and the way he's violating the Constitution and all the other ways that he show he doesn't give two craps about average Joe American citizens. He just doesn't care about anybody but himself and his wallet.
Yeah.
And I just need people to understand that, because somebody that only cares about the wallet is never going to care about you. So,
Well, run America like a business, and in a business, they try to pay you as little as possible so they can make more money. But yeah, the big issues again, the most wedge of wedge issues you can find. So the Alzheimer's cuts for Alzheimer's research, we're getting close to having like a semi-cure for things like Alzheimer's, and Trump is killing all of those research programs. Cancer research cuts, research for kids' cancer, especially for our national parks. Think about our cuts to the VA and other veterans programs, cuts to the benefits for like 9/11 first responders and stuff that Republicans always advocate against, and also Palantir, Peter Thiel. That's something that scares everyone I talk to, unless if you are literally like a top 1%. Trump is literally God person. That has scared everyone I've spoken to so far. So the Palantir thing and the mass surveillance state they want to do is the most clear, most powerful wedge issue. And we can do that. We just need to be hyper focused on messaging and framing. And I appreciate you calling in. I do that on my channel. Hopefully I'll see you around watching every now and then. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, I just subscribed today because you popped up on my feed, and I felt like it was a platform to, just agree with you, basically.
It could be pretty much anything.
Please keep what you're doing. Keep fighting a good fight, because we have to. We cannot allow somebody who has no respect for the Constitution and no respect for human beings. We cannot allow a person like that to remain in charge of our nation.
Yeah, I agree. And being out there with your flyers or myself, my face is all over the internet now. So like, I'm gonna be among the first line of political opponents they probably go after, and I know that. I recognize that. So when that does happen, though, if we all stand up, it's not gonna be. They cannot overcome that. There's a reason they're doing interviews right now. There's a reason they have to let certain people out of ICE custody. There's a reason the protesting does work. They do not have their 1984 surveillance state yet, and we need to stop them before they do. But yeah, thank you again. I hope you have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Keep fighting.
Thank you too, sir. Thank you. What a nice conversation for my mental health. Your soy boy face is useless. I got hair all over my body, and I also am losing hair in my head. That means I have high testosterone. I have actually very high testosterone. That's why you lose hair on your head, and it's all over my body. I can look like a gorilla. Like I can look like a werewolf. Gorilla has racial connotations. I can look like a werewolf. Every part of my body can grow way too much hair. All right. So if you want to call me a soy boy, it's because you're gay, and being gay is bad, obviously. All right. I'm just saying I have higher testosterone than you do. Please join Discord. I might be done for tonight. I want to get some sleep. I have to travel tomorrow for, like I said, I'll be gone for work. I didn't get a response from you guys yet. I think I might be done though. Cute poll. Fine, I'll do a cute poll. Well, there's multiple people calling, so like, I'm sorry, it's up in the air. There's a lot of people that want to call. I'll be honest, if my viewers were at like 500 right now, I would take your call, but we're at 160, so I'm going to bed. I'm not gonna lie. So conservatives, if you want more calls to be taken, bring more hate watchers to help boost me in the algorithm. It's gay not to compliment your bros, or it's not gay to compliment your bros. Thank you. You're true. Jolah is most definitely gay. I mean, give him money, he'll stay on. Don't give me money. I do not want to stay. Jolah is cute when he's at the dead man hand. What's wrong with you, dude? Don't ban him. Don't ban him. I want him to sit here in filth. I want him to just like roll around in his filth, okay? Do not ban him. Whatever Dead Man Hand just said in chat. All right, give him the attention he wants. Laugh at him. Point and laugh. He's allowed to be stupid here, all right? Let him be stupid. It's funny to watch. It's actually really sad. I'm the king of bad faith. Oh, thank you. Is this guy transgender? Wait, guy? Wouldn't I be girl if I was transgender? You got it all wrong, bucko. Oh yeah, but for when I'm traveling, I don't know if I can stream from my laptop. My laptop is not good anymore. Or my room. I'll probably, cause I can't take lighting with me, so I need to use my phone. I can't get calls on TikTok. I don't think. I don't want to get banned off TikTok, or should I just kind of? God loves Jolah. Thank you. Is it gay to have a prostate? Hey man, don't knock it till you try it. All right, if you have a prostate. I can't believe I just said that on camera, dude. I gotta go to bed. I can't believe I just said that on camera. Like, what the hell, dude? I'm not saying I do that. Okay, I'm just saying it's a funny thing to say. Nah, dude, chill. You gotta donate for that, dude. You gotta donate to Jolah Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. That was my Happy Pride Month quote. I said that for I said that for Pride Month because all the gays love that stuff, right? I also said that on camera. All right, that means it's time for bed. That means it's time for bed. I do not need callers, any viewers. Okay, I have like 20 people trying to call in. Okay, you're all needy. W camera. How does this work? Okay, so Matt, usually it's random. So if you call in and I pick you, you get lucky. I pull you up on the screen. Okay, it's a fake number, fake phone number. Call it, get on screen. Now I'm getting off right now. I'm getting off stream because we have bad viewership, and it's late. It's a Monday. Okay, I have work tomorrow. I have to travel for work. Right now, I'm asking if I need to. Callers bring viewers. That's not true because I've had callers and I have not gotten more viewers. It's the algorithm, buddy. It's the algorithm. I have higher viewers when I react to videos, by the way. When I'm reacting to Charlie Kirk, I have higher viewership. So it's not like the callers really do bring viewers all the time. My style of content that I do for my channel is very exhausting. So it's like, you're needy. It's exhausting. So watching my content takes a lot of work. Okay. So that's one reason I've been trying to have more just like typical conversations, normal conversations, less aggressive conversations. And I've been trying to have do more YouTube videos and put up more videos and focus more on TikTok too. Because people watch my channel and they want to be able to chill sometimes and be able just to react to a debate or review a debate, okay? And if I only do these conversations, then everyone gets kind of, yeah, it is exhausting. And it's the same conversations over and over again. So the more I can do that kind of stuff, every once in a while, probably good. And if you like the call-in content, you don't got to watch when I do reactions. If you like the reactions, then, vice versa. Okay, join Discord. I have my Discord link. I'm going to put it in chat. I'll be in Discord if you want to talk. Okay, I'll be in Discord eating my cereal. I always have post-stream cereal and traumatic. Thank you. To God be the glory. I won't let anyone judge me. Join Discord. Here's a link to it. It's in my description. How Dean and Parker do it. Well, I have my own issues with Dean and Parker. I wish I could talk to Dean and Parker privately, okay? Because I think they could be very effective and useful, all right? But right now they have some certain... they're a little bit audience captured in the way they debate, and it's not very good for the people we need to get on our side. So, like, they're very smart, though. Like, they're very sharp. They're very precise. They're like, extremely intelligent, especially for their ages. I'm only 25, but, like, they're super smart. But they just need to... I don't know if I need to bring them to... okay, go privately talk to your privates. Very cool comment, Steven. Thank you, Steven. Okay, I wonder, do people that I talk to in real life comment these things on these videos? Like the type of people? Like the type of people. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, channel members. Thank you, subscribers. Yeah, Discord in my description. Discord in my video descriptions. Go watch Pisco. Thank you. To God be the glory. Appreciate it. All right, go watch Pisco. I'm gonna send you to Pisco. He's reviewing some legal stuff. Pisco's another YouTuber, really cool guy. Make sure you say, Jolah said you're a really, Jolah said you're a debate dog with DAWG, all caps. All right, Jolah said you're a debate dog, and I should be watching your content. Okay. All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. You guys, I might hop on stream tomorrow just to chat on my phone. But I'll be traveling, like I said. If I find a solution, great. If I don't find a solution, GG's. But we'll try to find something out. We'll figure something out. Jolah said you're really sexy. Yeah, basically. You could say that too. What the? Okay. We'll see. Follow me on TikTok as well. Follow me on TikTok. I'll add everyone's donations to the goal when I get off here on Venmo. The donations count on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Just one more time to reiterate it. My goal is. Oh, thank you for 69 likes on the stream too. I'm about to get off. But the goal is maybe starting a political action committee to make ads and stuff like that on my own, and to the goal is also to have a studio, to get a new studio with actual desk, actual camera, actual setup that looks good. An actual schedule, actual editing, all that kind of stuff. So, and also like a podcast studio kind of thing. So that's what the goal is for. It's basically if 500 people donate $20, 500 people donate $20 or some combination, an average donation of $20 or 30 or 300 people donate $33 or some shit. It's a pretty high goal, but again, I go off of the Kyle Kalinske model. Is how Kyle Kalinske got his studio, is through that method of crowdfunding. So pretty much anything you donate to the channel on Venmo, Cash App, anything you donate to the channel on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, or the coffee link is going to go towards the goal. All right. And then super chats on YouTube and my members and stuff, that'll go to my just like YouTube pay. Okay. So thank you again. Have a great night. See you guys tomorrow. You'll donate when you get paid. You don't gotta donate. It's okay. Jolah says he has higher testosterone. All right, guys. My jaw's getting tight for my TMJ. All right. Have a good night, guys.